The metal shavings. You don't want the metal shavings to get in your engine. So right here in this clip, basically I'm putting a new gasket on, and this is gasket sealer, and you gotta make sure all your surfaces are clean, and then you put the sealer on. Then you put the gasket, but then you put more sealer on top of that, thin layers. And right here we're putting on the inner cover back on. So that's, I can't speak. Anyways, the inner cover is being installed back on, and we're going to reinstall the 9 8mm bolts and tighten them uniformly. You can do it in a circle. I don't know what I did. I think I did it in a circle. I'm not sure. Or you could do crisscross. But anyways, if you have a torsion spring, you're going to install it now. And this is what it should look like. That's the torsion spring and the new doohickey lever, and then the doohickey bolt. And you should have, actually, not included in this picture, you should have a washer between the doohickey bolt and the doohickey lever. So yeah, got to do that. This is not where your hole should be on the lower right at the 530 position. If you know what I'm talking about. You should know what I'm talking about if you're doing this procedure. I don't know what's going to happen after this. Yeah, I don't know what, oh, I know what I'm talking about. Okay. This is a long story. But anyways, there's a washer that's behind the sprocket at your upper portion of the screen. There's this washer behind there. Here, I'll show you. It's prone to, basically this washer, when you're putting the inner cover back on and taking it off, this washer right here, I'm going to show you. There's the washer. It could drop into the oil sump, which I will also show you in a moment. And you don't want that to happen. That would be very bad if that's the oil sump. You don't want that spacer to fall in the oil sump, because then you wouldn't have a spacer and blah, blah, blah. So make sure that doesn't happen before you reinstall everything, the inner cover and everything. So this shaft is going to go in that hole, obviously, apparently. And how to do that, you're going to have to do this. It's kind of hard to explain. You'll know what I'm talking about when you get in there. Make sure you have your service manual so you know all the how this all goes together. So basically, this is what I'm doing. Make sure the space is on there. Make sure it doesn't drop. Then, okay, and this basically this is at night, obviously, but we're going to install the 2 spacer collars, or they're called, yeah, I'm going to call them spacers. But replace those. Make sure they're oiled. Oil them and then replace them. Then we're going to replace you're going to put the starter gear on. Make sure it's oiled as well. I heavily oiled this one. And then we're going to put the Woodruff, oh, I'm sorry, not the Woodruff key yet. There's another washer, another spacer, then the Woodruff key, and then the rotor. And this is, oh yeah, before we put the rotor on, you need to make sure the tapered part is fully dry. And now we're going to put the rotor on. Now the starter gear should rotate clockwise. It should not rotate counterclockwise. So that's how it should go. Now we're going to install the new rotor bolt. It must be new. You cannot use an old one. So that's what we're doing now. And while it's loosened, we're going to check. I think I'm going to not tighten it yet. I don't know what's coming after this. Okay, apparently I'm going to tighten. So we're going to remove the rotor with the rotor holder wrench. We're going to move it so that the rotor wrench can be placed on the top of the footbag so that we could start torquing it down to proper specifications. Right now I think I'm tight. Oh, this is a torque wrench. I'm going to 85 foot-pounds right now, which you should do. Go up to 85 foot-pounds for now, and then we're going to check something in a moment. Basically, let me explain it. Let me start explaining it now. Basically, the starter gear should have what's called endplay, and what's going to happen is rotate the gear clockwise, and at the same time you want to pull towards yourself and push in towards the engine, and you'll feel an end play. This is what I'm explaining now. You're going to feel some end play, and basically the gear is going to go back and forth. It's going to like kind of hit the rotor and kind of hit the back. So you want to make sure there's very, 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 very minimal end play, but you don't want it to be you don't want there to be no end play, because then there'd be friction on the rotor and blah blah blah. So you want to make sure there's minimal end play. After that, we're gonna replace the starter gear shafts. The fixed gear set goes on top. Make sure there's a washer on the inside and the outside of the gear set. And I'm going to show you how the lower gear set goes. First the shaft is put in. Then you're going to put the washer, a washer. Then you're going to put 2 bearings in a moment. And then make sure, and then you're going to put the gear set on after the 2 bearings, and then the next washer. Make sure they all get seated. You can rotate the starter gear to properly seat all the gears together. So this is what I'm doing now, and I think I removed the starter gear. I'm not sure. Anyway, so make sure you put that the outer washer back on. You can refer to your service manual for all this, by the way. Make sure you have a clean surface for your gasket. Put a new gasket cover back on, a gasket sealer, and then install the outer cover. And we're going to insert the 10 8mm bolts and tighten them to specifications. I think it's 69 inch-pounds. And then we're going to tighten the Doohickey bolt pretty soon. So make sure all those are 69 inch-pounds. We're going to tighten the Doohickey bolt to also 69 inch-pounds. There's a rubber plug on it, so you need to take that off. And then 69 inch-pounds. Put the rubber plug back on. I can't speak today. Rubber plug back on, and now we're going to reposition the wiring looms back in there, back in the protective slot. We're also going to reinstall the neutral wire. So that's what we're going to do momentarily. See, this is the neutral wire. You want to install it back on, because that would be bad if you didn't have it back on. Now we're going to reinstall the shift lever, and we're going to tighten it, obviously. And make sure your shift lever goes on in the proper position so you could actually shift through the gears. So it's a good time to clean your shifter lever at this point and clean the where it connects. There's a 10mm bolt at the base, and you need to tighten that down. After this, we're going to replace the front sprocket cover with all 3 bolts, blah blah blah. Then we're going to replace the oil drain plug, blah blah blah. And I think all you got to do after that is, this is the complete product basically. We just need to put the skid plate back on. So anyways, basically you need to remove your old filters, install new oil and new filter, and your skid plate, and you should all be set. And I hope, this is a quick installation, so I'm not a professional. I've only done this once. So please have a service manual, and you could also call Mike from Eagle Mike Manufacturing for any questions. So, double check, make sure every procedure is all good in the hood. Refer to your service manual, blah blah blah. So, do this at your own risk. If you don't want to spend hours and hours and hours and possibly days doing this, send it to a professional. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and happy writing.